everybody, and welcome to the show. This is Comics News Today for the 5th of December. Things are moving along, George, don't you think? We're seeing
Possibly.
it is, right? I mean, the year just flies by. It sucks getting old, man.
It
You
was
know?
only yesterday that it was December 4th.
Yeah, December 4th, 1992. You're right. Just yesterday. But that's the sucky thing about getting old that you realize, other than the pains and all the other crap, the eyesight going and all that kind of stuff. But the real unfortunate thing is time moves much faster as you get older. And it's of course with kids, it's slow as molasses. They wish it would go faster. And you would think it would be opposite. It would make sense if it were the opposite, right? Because kids, they don't want to be bothered with stuff. So if time feels like it's passing quicker, it would be easier for them. But we old people, so life is much shorter than you think it is because the last half of your life moves past in about a year. So have
Really?
fun with that.
That's
Yeah.
interesting because I find it very, very slow. I can't wait for the afterlife.
Yeah. Okay, George.
You know the afterlife I'm talking about, where you can actually sit in a room, comfortable chair, watch TV, and not have a care in the world, and somebody will come and help you with your underwear.
Yeah, I see, George. Yeah, that sounds like a great place to be. Yeah, okay. I think my afterlife looks a little different than yours, but nevertheless, that's okay. Thank you for being here, George. Thank you for you guys all joining us, and do keep in mind that we have our links down below, particularly our Facebook page, which of course is for FanSpeak. Definitely be part of that if you haven't. I see he's got a few people in here. We got Somali. Hey, Somali made it today. Very good. We got some of his articles we're going to be covering today. We got Roger Heller in here as well. Thank you guys very much for being part of this. And do us a favor and hit that share button so your family and friends and extended community can come over here and be part of this. So we do it live. Now, do keep in mind today is our double show day. We have, I do believe it is, right? Yeah, no, it absolutely is. Today is Thursday, right, George?
Mm,
Yes, yes, it is. So after this show at
yeah.
10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be doing Draw and Record Ultimate Edition, where we will be covering Brickback, a nice little holiday, Christmas holiday, kids book, really, but it's kind of very clever. We covered it here. We did a full rundown on it. You guys can check that out. But definitely come back and check that out as well. We got some news we've got to get to, some actual comic book news. So that's kind of fun. And let me see what the chat here has to say. Nick C says Chester doesn't even know what day it is. I know it's a problem, right? Yeah, old man. My teeth are going to start falling out any day now. Namaste to you as well, Roger. Hope your dad likes the movie. I don't know. Let me see someone saying something about a dad. Let me come up the top here. Top here. Somebody says, "Can't stay around for the show this time. Have a good one, guys, and enjoy your Friday. Looking forward to the Saturday show. Keep your heads cool. The threat can be pretty fun. Threats can be pretty fun, but I admit. Okay. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic week. Thank you very much, Roger. Indeed, I'll start my day in a bit after sleep. Going to see Ford versus Ferrari with my father. Oh, dude, that sounds like fun, man. I definitely want to go see that movie. Unfortunately, I rarely get to the cinema anymore. I'll probably have to check it on Netflix or wherever it ends up coming. But yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun going to see a cool car movie, an important moment in the history of cars, actually, with your dad. Oh, that sounds awesome, dude. I haven't seen my dad in the flesh in 20 years, man. It is what it is. How about you, George? You got your dad around?
Yeah, he's kicking around. Um, I am curious about this car movie
Yeah,
that you name.
yeah.
What is it?
Well, it's a movie that has Christian Bale and Matt Damon in it. It's got really solid reviews. Anything from it's good to it's great. So that's a nice area to be in, I'd say. It sounds like it's really well done. It's got a good story, and it's basically telling the story of Ford trying to compete in the in racing. Again, I think it was Le Mans against Ferrari, who was the king of the ring there for quite a while. And they said they were going to do it. They built the car and they did it. So it was very, important moment. for American manufacturers, particularly Ford. It was a bit of a comeback, and of course that Ford GT, which you can actually buy a version of it these days. Of course, it costs a friggin' fortune, but you can buy one. Very impressive car. But it sounds like it's really well acted, and of course it's got car action. I mean, who doesn't love a car movie, dude? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Even you know,
it's all right.
no, I love him, dude. Even that really kind of schlocky, horrible Sylvester Stallone movie where he was driving the F1 cars. Even that was fun, right? But I love car movies in particular, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. But I think more so just to see with your dad. I mean, does your dad like cars? Did you ever do anything with your dad repairing cars and such?
No, no, unless it was a Hot Wheels, that's as close as I've gotten to repairing any car.
I see. I see. Okay, I grew up with car stuff with my family and such, but nothing professional, just the normal things. But because one of my memories I have of my dad, I mean, my dad's a bit shorter than me, but he's just such a powerful human. As far as physical strength, I mean, we got that good Celtic back and all our thick bones and the muscles on top of them, so we can move some weight for sure. But I've literally seen my dad take an engine, normal size engine, out of a car with a cherry picker or A-frame, put it in a freaking wheelbarrow that it actually popped the tire on the wheelbarrow, and him lift it in the wheelbarrow and push that thing around. That's impressive, right? But that's one memory I have of my dad doing that. But actually, most of my car experience came from other people, although I'm certainly not an expert. You never worked on
Wow.
cars, George?
Again, like I said, only Hot Wheels. Actually, wait a minute. I did have a 1930s Ford model kit. That
Cool.
was that was
That is
nice.
cool. Yeah, so Model A
And
maybe or Model B?
Model A,
Right.
and I've had it for 20, 30, 35 years.
That's cool. Very, very nice.
It's the basis for one of the cars in the Joe King story.
Oh, neat. All right, there you go. No, I mean, but you don't change your own oil, change your own spark plugs. You don't do that kind of stuff.
Are you talking to me or are you talking to the chat?
I'm talking to both of you, I
Because
guess.
because because you're talking a foreign language to me, sir. I
All
have
right.
no idea what you're talking about. I mean, if you want to talk about changing oil, I do that for fries. If you're talking
Yeah,
about
that's
changing
fair.
spark
That's
plugs,
fair.
I do that for the power distribution box in the house. That's about it.
All right. Well, maybe you should give it a try. It's not that hard, and it's rewarding, George. It makes your car has more value when you actually do the repairs. Now, of course, most all of us, including myself, are not actual mechanics, so there's not a lot of things we could do. Although I'm sure you could figure it out. I don't think there's anything in a car you can't figure out, actually, especially these days. But I always support people going and trying to do at least the minor repairs on your vehicle. It's good for you, I think. Eric Hawkins is defending me, shockingly. I didn't think that would ever happen. Pigs must be flying. And he says, my dad can still throw me around like a rag doll. Well, the thing about those guys is that, that old generation, they're actual men, right? And Eric is admitting he's not a man. Hey, Thundera, what's up, dude?
Yo, how's everybody? Can you hear me? We good?
We can hear you just
Coming
fine,
in
dude.
loud and clear.
Nice to have you in
Wonderful.
here, man. We're talking about dads and cars, man. What a great conversation that is.
Dads and cars. Well, my father was never much of a car guy. He was a fix everything else kind of guy, but not a car guy for some reason. But the rest of my family is.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
cars are
he just never
fun,
got
man.
the bug for some reason.
Yeah. Motorcycles are actually easier if
Hmm.
you're uncomfortable with working on a car and stuff like that. Get yourself a motorcycle. Those are really easy and fun to wrench on. Anybody can do that. It's a good place to learn. It's where I learned my basic understanding of mechanical engineering as a kid, tearing down a Honda
Hmm.
a motorcycle. I mean, it was great understanding as a kid. The cool thing too was because there's no way my mom was going to let me have a motorcycle. So I had these friends of mine, and their names were Larry, Gary, Terry, and Jerry Lee. I joke. I do not. I kid you not. Larry, Terry, Gary, and Jerry Lee. Uh, and
Are you a real person? What is happening?
It's serious, dude. And their dad, I don't know exactly. I was a kid. I was only like 12, 13, something like that. And their dad, I think, was a motorcycle mechanic. I think, because they had a nice house, but his backyard was just full of motorcycles. And I think he either ran a shop from the house, or maybe he just, I don't know what it was, but I was too young to care. But that was a motorcycle family. And of course, my mom would never let me have a motorcycle, of course. They were my friends, so they just took and like I, George, what are you doing, George? But they took
Oh,
like
sorry. This conversation is so exciting. I was going to play Clash Royale.
all right, thank you, George. They took I took like a BMW frame, and it was just a Frankenstein bike, and they just kind of threw something together, and we were able to go. I was able to go riding with them, right? And then eventually I got my own thing, but I had to fix it up. And their dad on the weekend he would come and wrench with us and teach us little things and talk to us and stuff. And the bike was absolutely it was not running. I think it was even seized. And he had taught us all kind of stuff, and I asked him if he could help me. He says, there's no need for me to help you at all. You tear that thing down, and if you have a question, you ask. And how cool a thing moment that was, because these days, how many adults just do this stuff for the kids, right? But he didn't. He made me do it, and I thank him. I cannot tell you how much I thank that guy for doing that, because I
Gotcha.
learned so much tearing that thing down several times to get it right. By the way, you know. But that was such an education. But anyway,
You're such
I'm
an
ranting,
amateur.
but it was good fun. What, George? I know you're
You're
bored,
such an
George.
amateur. You're such an amateur. It takes you how many times? Three, four times
It
to
took me
fix
about
a car?
three. It took me about three times to get it right. Yeah, yeah, for
Jeez.
sure.
You know
I see Eric
what would you
Hawkins.
do with a zombie apocalypse? You know, and they're coming after you. Like, say you're in a tunnel and zombies are coming from one end while rats are fleeing the other end, and you're sitting there with a flat tire. What are you gonna do?
Well, I you would be fleeing with the rats, and I'd be killing the zombies, I'm sure, George. But in the end, the women must survive. So, oh
Is
come
there?
on, don't Thunder. You got to give me. Ooh, come on. What are you
I'm
doing?
busy reading Eric Hawkins' comment over here. He said, Chester, changing your oil yourself is a pain now. You have to find somewhere to recycle it. Spark plugs nowadays last 100,000 miles at
It's
least.
true. That is true.
Recycle it? No, no, Eric. Let me teach you a little something. It's called a fire.
Yeah.
You make a nice little fire
Uh
in
huh.
pretty much every city in the country. You can have a burn pit as long as it's covered.
Uh
You
huh.
pour the oil in the bottom of it and you light it. Problem solved.
Can you
That's it.
barbecue with this particular oil, or is it
You can here.
unbarbecuable?
It's a fire. You can do anything you want with oil.
Yeah.
Just make a fire.
Now it sounds to me like maybe America hasn't got itself organized yet, because I know here where I live, every day we have trash collection twice a day, twice a week, sorry, Tuesday and Thursday, I think. But every day during the week is in our trash area, which is localized. There is a specific gathering day, like wooden items, metal items, plastic items,
Hmm.
batteries, things like that. And they have an oil day. I think it's Saturday. So you can just put the oil out there and they'll come and collect it. So it's pretty easy to recycle it actually. Uh, but
Nice.
um, but he is right about spark plugs. That's right. Spark plugs have become badass. But I know I like wrenching on stuff, man. It's fun. And Nick says this show has turned into old man talk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Not old yet. Getting there though. Today
It's
is
getting there.
actually my birthday, believe it or
Well,
not. And
happy birthday to you. What are you? 43?
They won't let us burn oil here in Illinois.
They
they
won't.
won't let you burn. Let. Let is the key word in that sentence.
Yes, exactly. Be a
What they
free
don't know is
American.
under a pile of leaves, they'll never know.
That's right. That's right. Well, you do live in the state of Obama, so I feel pity for you.
Yeah, I do too every day.
Yeah, move
How
to
close? How
Texas.
close do you live to Chirac anyway?
I'm closer to St. Louis. I'm right across the river from St.
Oh,
Louis.
see, that's barely even Illinois.
It barely is because I work in Missouri.
Oh wow, interesting, interesting.
I have to pay taxes in both states.
Yeah, but I hear Chirac has certainly gotten much worse though.
It's horrible. I mean, it's mass shootings every weekend, which they don't report on the news. They don't
Yeah,
talk about the crazy gun laws up there where you can't have any guns. It's like a gun-free zone. But everybody's got a gun up there and kills people
Wait a minute. Did you
daily.
say it's a gun-free zone?
Yeah, it has some of the stricter gun laws in the state.
Oh, really? How
in the
many free
States. Yeah.
guns do you get per person, or is
Oh,
there a
thank you,
limit?
George. God, George, your puns, man, they
I
get
have
worse.
4 personally, but
Sweet. There you go. What do you got?
I got my dad's old shotgun. I've got a Webley Mark
Ah.
IV,
Hmm.
imitation Webley, and a Glock 22.
A Glock 22. Interesting. Interesting. I always preferred the Smith and Wesson, but I've been watching Louder with Crowder here for a couple of years, and I kind of want to try a Walther one day. But of course, I live in
I
Japan. I
like it.
can't have no guns. But
Oh yeah,
I
you know.
thought you could get a gun in Japan. It's just nobody really wanted them. Like there's a process to get one, but nobody.
Oh
It's not
well,
really a thing.
I would talk about a handgun. It's pretty much impossible
Oh,
to get a handgun. No, you can get a shotgun pretty easily. You just got to go take a
okay.
test, really, and it's not that bad. But Japan, everything in Japan is licensed. I mean, everything,
Yeah.
everything, right? I mean, even things you would consider to be ridiculous to be licensed, it's licensed here. And all you
What
need
about
to
to
do is,
kill?
what do you say, George?
What about to kill?
George, I swear to God, George,
Not anymore, George. They got rid of samurai a long time ago.
they did, they did.
hey, it's International Ninja Day today. Have you seen ninjas, Chester?
Well, I have neighbors, but I'm not supposed to talk about it. I've been warned twice already, so let's not push that. All right, but but no, I mean you can get a shotgun here, a rifle, stuff like that. Unfortunately, you can't go bow hunting here. It's completely illegal in Japan. Something
What?
about yeah, well, because unless you hit it correctly, it's going to suffer. And I get the argument, I guess, but I prefer bow hunting. But I've gone deer hunting a couple times here, but I don't know. The Japanese have a weird way of doing things. They kind of take all the fun out of everything. So it's like
Yeah.
screw that.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's a whole nation of autists. I got you.
no, it is, dude. The Japanese are masters of taking the fun out of every damn thing, dude. All right. But anyway, so I guess I should probably jump into the news. Although I'm having fun just talking about old man stuff. But well, here it is. Okay, coming over. And just keep in mind that Greta Thunberg is back at it. And she's now saying that it's not about the environment, stupid. It's about men. Okay. Thank you, Greta.
Is she in your part of the world right now?
I
Because
haven't seen her over
the
here.
temperature should give you a little warning, maybe a few degrees lower.
Yeah, well, the Japanese do believe in the global warming thing, and well, that's okay. They don't overreact, so it's not as big a deal as it is in the West. But we did have the Pope here recently, and he pissed the Japanese off quite readily. My goodness, he was basically trying to guilt the Japanese into taking refugees, and the Japanese basically put up all 300 million middle fingers
Yeah.
uh,
I love
which is good. I'm glad to hear that because I mean, it's like screw you, right? And one of the best comments I saw to the Pope was, "You do realize we're not Christian, right?"
it.
It was a great
and
comment
yet,
from a
and yet, better
from a
people than
Japanese.
most Christian nations.
Yeah,
Little
yeah,
shot there at Christians.
yeah,
The
and the
Japanese, a mostly atheist nation, has better morality than most of the places on the
yeah.
planet.
But the way he wrote the tweet was in the best way too, because Japanese language you can say things in many ways, from the impolite to the most ridiculous level of politeness, right? And what did he say? "Oretachi wa Kristo janai yaro," right? Which is the most impetuous way to say that, right? It was funny. It made me laugh. Anyway, I have some news up here, so let's cover that. And Denali will be in a little bit. He's walking his dog. So we have Action Labs Entertainment, February 2020 solicitations. This is from Somali, which thank you very much again, Somali, for putting news up for us on the Fanspeak page on Facebook. But before I get into these solicitations, I am curious to the panel here. Has anyone ever heard of Action Lab? Because I haven't.
Yeah,
No.
Action Lab is a really good publisher. They make a little scientific books ish kind of stuff.
Like sci-fi
I've been
stuff?
aware of that for many years. No, more like learning science fiction kind of stuff. It's
Like
really fun
chemistry?
stuff. Yeah, chemistry, physics,
Oh, that's
you
cool.
name it.
So it's kind of like
It,
a
it,
scholastic type of
it's
thing.
It's a fun publisher. I've been aware of them for a very long time.
Okay, well, I took a look at this page and I didn't see anything sciency, but that's fine. But I just want to kind of go through it here and take a look. I like when somebody puts these things up. I think this is cool this is what we're here for, right? In a way. But we've got Supermom expecting trouble. All right. Okay. Okay. Now we have to look at this. Take a look at this. We got some devils coming in. All right. All right. That's pretty good. They're females. You do realize the whole cover is nothing but female, right? We got the Supermom one. We got these ladies here. I wonder if they're lesbians. They're moms though, but I guess you can be a lesbian mom these days. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well,
The
they look
art,
like they're pregnant.
they do, don't they? Yeah.
Well, even the logo up there, that's a pregnant lady.
Yeah, that's true.
Or
Hmm.
just a fat
Ex-
lady.
Expecting trouble.
Expecting trouble. Ah, ha,
Oh
ha,
no.
ha. Oh God. Okay, let's come down here. Danger zone. Now, I would say that that is not feminist. I
Oh,
can go with that. I'm pretty sure that's a good thing. That's a good thing. George, can you appreciate this now, or are you still dead inside?
It's probably a dude.
I'm losing heart. Oh, it's coming back to me now.
Oh, there it is. All right. So he's getting the blood moving in the veins. All right. So let's see this one. Okay, okay, that's not great art, but that's well, this is more stylistic art. It's a little bit better actually. This one's not bad. That's pretty good. It's kind of like Kyung Lee type of thing. She's scarred though. She's got lots of scars. That means she's a badass. Going to the chapel. Gone to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Hmm. Oh, come on. This is taking right off of the what is that movie from Tarantino? This is obviously pulling on what's that stupid movie I hate? Kill
Kill
Bill.
Bill.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. Kill Switch. Ooh, that's a cool name. That's kind of cool. I'll go with that. All right. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? It's kind of nice. It's not bad. Fat black guy. I don't know why he's a superhero, but rock on. I don't know. It's a good looking name though. Mr. Beaver. Oh, come on now. That's you're making it easy. Mr. Beaver. Now, see, I want to read that. What does it say here? Mr. Beaver reverts to his lone wolf mode as he attempts to infiltrate the lair of the powerful criminal organization known as the 12, all on his own. And as he ponders Theos Lampsey, the special power wielded by his nemesis, Richard, and one, well, Richard, his nemesis, Richard, and one he himself tried to master during his time at the Alpha Academy. He will find that he may just need to the help of his junior partner, Detective Patrick. Okay. After all his investigations, after all, as he in what? Come on, navigates the heavily guarded sewers. That was a horribly written sentence. I'll blame them, not me. Let's see. Argus number 1. It's kind of plain. Twin Worlds, Vamp Blades. Okay, once again, we're getting a lot of not super great art. Really, maybe the coloring is not great here, but it certainly doesn't seem to be very SJW-y. They like the lady. They like the lady's bodies. Zombie Tramp. Oh, okay. Finally, I found one I know. It's Zombie Tramp. I've heard of Zombie Tramp before. Have you guys heard of Zombie Tramp?
I've heard it. I don't have any idea what it is. I mean, besides the obvious.
Yeah, besides the obvious, yeah. But yeah, so okay, this is where their fame comes from because this is the only thing I've heard of. But it's cool though. I like to take a look at these comic book companies I don't know and see what they're putting out, man. I think it's cool. We all like comic books, and I don't know about you guys, but I personally like to try new things. There's lots of times they suck, and I'm not interested, but I want to at least try it. What do you guys think about that? Are you open to new ideas of comic books, or are you kind of stuck with the two?
I'm usually open. I mean, you don't know if it's going to suck till you try it.
That's right. What about you, Thundero?
I'm very open to it. I abandoned the main two a long time ago.
Yeah, well, they have gotten kind of full of themselves, I guess, but it's cool. George, would you like to say anything hateful about this company? All right. Well, there we go. Moving on. Now, this is also from Somali. I do have some Denali stuff here as well later, but I definitely want to bring this one up because I don't know if the guys here remember. Of course, I'm going to ask them, but a long time ago, well, maybe it wasn't as long as I thought, but it was a long time ago. There was this video game come out called Vanquish. And it was a really fun game. I'm not going to get into spoiling the story of it for you, but basically, it's the kind of typical we're on the verge of apocalypse, the resources are low. Mankind needs salvation. And of course, they have this big giant colony ship, and it's going to save us all, but it gets taken over by terrorists. So you are a military personnel going in to deal with the problem. And here's the thing: this is a great game. Absolutely stellar, lots of fun game, great story, entertaining. But the thing about this game is, it shows you how you make something, right? You don't need this sprawling epic. You should have an understanding of what the overall cosmology of your world is, because whatever when you make things in the future, you have a guideline, right? But you got to make a game or a movie or something like that. Keep it simple. You're on a single ship. You need to figure out what's going on because humanity desperately needs this ship. It's simple. You're not jumping all over and going to this planet and that planet. You're on one ship, and you have a mission, and it's focused, and it gives you opportunity to tell a great story. And they did. And I'm not going to tell you any more about it because they're doing a remaster of this, guys. And I would suggest strongly to you to get that remaster when it comes out and play it if you haven't, because this was a great game. You guys ever play Vanquish?
No, I don't recall it.
It was
Yeah,
really
I've never
good.
even heard of it.
Yeah, it was
I
really
played
good.
it. It's pretty good.
It's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is awesome, dude, and it's coming out from the director of Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami, and I think it's really cool. They've been doing a lot of these remasters and reintroductions. Booster and I talked about it a little bit yesterday. Some of
Hmm.
them they're just taking and polishing them up and making them look prettier and stuff like that. Although they're doing it from the ground up. Now, I didn't recognize in this article anywhere that it says that they're completely reworking this from the ground up. Matter of fact, they use the word remaster. So but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter though. It was a good game anyway. So bringing this game back and letting a younger generation get a chance at it, I think is a great idea. Yeah,
It's just polishing it up. It says right there. They're
yeah,
putting it,
yeah.
they're polishing it up
Remaster.
to 4K graphics and all that stuff.
Oh, there you go.
You know, they might add some mini games to it, with these
Sure.
remasters edition, but otherwise, it's basically the same game with prettier graphics.
Which would be cool. And
Yeah.
what I hope is they can reintroduce it. It becomes popular, and then they continue it because you could continue this in this world quite easily, actually. And but I was really happy to see this news because that's one of the best narrative. I mean, narratives I have seen in a game. It's really really good, and I suggest you check it out when it comes out. For this coming out soon too, just in February. Oh, that's awesome news. Thank you very much, Somali. All right, anybody have any comments on that? Sounds like you guys don't know it. No. All right, cool. Moving on. Denali.
All right, so this is from Screen Rant. They're reporting that the new Jurassic World movie will get a prequel comic series to kind of bridge the gap between what happened to the horrible last movie and this maybe horrible next movie. So it'll basically be essential readings if you want to understand what the third movie is going to be
It's a
about.
comic though, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's a comic book, so you know, got to try to find those comic stories for this comic news today.
Sure.
So
No,
yeah,
absolutely, do. Thank you very
yeah.
much. And Eric, I'm kind of curious what you think on this because, I know we're all old enough that we grew up and we saw the original Jurassic Park, and then of course we have this new Jurassic Park with Dinale. Who's the guy? He's from the Guardians of the Galaxy guy. What's his name? Chris something.
Uh, yeah, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
What a horrible name. But he's in this he's in this reboot. I do like Chris Pratt. I think he's fun. But I haven't been digging these new Jurassic World. I understand it's a reboot. I get they want to go a different direction. I get it. But I just don't enjoy it as much. Now, is that simply they're not as good, or is it simply nostalgia? What do you think, Eric?
I think it's nostalgia because I saw the first Jurassic Park in theaters a couple times.
Yeah.
The new ones, I didn't. The last one was kind of goofy. Uh,
Yeah.
but the first one that Chris was in, it was okay. But mostly, I watched it to see the dinosaurs.
True. True. And the dinosaurs
Yeah.
are great.
Yeah. I mean,
But
it was okay. It wasn't spectacular by any means, but I mean, the last one with the cloning and it was just weird.
yeah, well, and it looks like they're going a direction of having human
Mhm.
dinosaurs or something. That's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Which could be, at least it's different, I suppose. You could look at it like that. But I don't know how many damn times we have to see that T-Rex save the day. It's like
Right.
super
That's the
T-Rex. Put a damn
mascot.
cape on him.
it's
yeah,
a,
yeah.
it's the mascot. It's Jurassic World and Park's mascot.
I
Like
guess. Yeah.
Pikachu, like Pikachu is the
Yeah.
mascot for Pokemon.
Yeah.
But funny enough, all that plot lines about cloning and genetic and human hybrid version, those were actually stories that were going to be made in the fourth Jurassic Park film, but everybody thought at that time was dumb. And now there those people who thought it was dumb and didn't approve it are getting validation because we'll see it and people will probably agree that those
Yeah.
ideas were dumb.
Well,
How
yeah.
many books did Crichton write? Just the two, wasn't it?
Lost
I don't know.
World
I
and
don't know.
Jurassic Park, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think I think they're just stretching out.
They are, but I don't necessarily mind the idea of them taking it into a dinosaur humanoids, actually. But I think what catches the general public off with that is the idea of Jurassic Park. Why I think why it was impressive is one, the dinosaurs, the CG, the special effects are amazing. But it's also the thing that a dinosaur, even though they used cloning to make them, there was science involved. That wasn't the catch. They're dinosaurs. They're real things. They're animals, right? When you start doing all this cloning hybrid and high tech and you're creating humanoid races and all this kind of stuff, you're getting far away from the animal, right? That it is.
Right, right.
Because it's not evil, it's not good, it just is, right? And I think
Right.
that had a lot of quality that's this new run seems to be dodging or something. What do you think, Thunder?
Well, the first movie was basically a horror movie, a family-friendly one, but
Yeah,
it had a lot of horror elements in it, and it was also a moral movie. It had a moral to its story. The new ones
sure.
don't. They're just popcorn movies, which is fine.
Yeah,
But that's the major difference in why Jurassic Park has so much nostalgia. Plus, obviously, the CGI was and is still today unbelievable.
oh yeah,
Um, there's something about the way Spielberg, which he's done multiple times, so it's obviously just a gift he has. He can tell a moral story and it just sticks with you.
yeah,
Even if you don't necessarily agree with it, it still sticks with you. And that movie and the music and everything just comes together and it sticks with you forever. Unfortunately, these new ones, and really all of them but the first one, just don't have that. They don't have that whatever it is. That in my opinion, that's what makes a movie great, if it sticks with you.
yeah, yeah,
Really, in the last decade, there's only been a couple that have had anything like that stick with you.
yeah. Well,
Jurassic Park does, though. Even to this day, even kids like who were born years after it was originally released remember that movie and still watch that movie and love it because it
yeah.
has that quality where it just sticks with you.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But I have to say though, the CG in the modern movies, although I think they're fine, they're not as good as the original. And I think it's because the original was a mixed media.
Yep.
This is all digital.
Yep.
But I'm not going to complain too much about that. I think it's fine. But it is interesting that something that is made way later is not as high quality. But the other, I agree with you 100% on that. But another thing that kind of catches me with it is the fact that I'm not 100% sure if this is an accurate statement, and I'm sure the chat will yell at me and correct me. But for me, it took it took that horror sheen off of Damien and made him a normal human for the first time. Now, of course, he's in The Omen. He's in Event Horizon. He's in Something of Madness. I can't remember. It was a good movie, but he plays horror perfectly. He is the monster. But this movie made him a normal guy for the first time for me personally, because he's always Damien, right? I
Yeah.
just went over everybody's head. All right, fine. All right, but I guess the last question before I move on is this is a comic book thing, which is cool. But I don't know. Have we ever seen Jurassic Park comic books before?
I'm pretty sure there were a lot of tie-in comic books for Jurassic Park.
All right, cool.
I mean, I don't think it followed the story of Jurassic Park, but it probably tied in a lot, like to merchandising. Because I remember the toys, the big promotion afterwards, where it became like a hit, and everybody wanted a piece of that action.
Yeah, well, there you go. That makes sense. I'm not surprised by that. Let me see. Let me catch up the chat real quick before I move over. Let's see. Uh, there's a lot of comments today. Sweet. Just another great thing about motorcycles. True. Comics news tonight. This show is turned into old man talk. Okay, I read that. Your mom is licensed. All right. Uh, Louder with Crowder. Hey, explains a lot. Hey, I like Louder with Crowder. He's interesting. And he's kind of that middle of the road type of politics too. Nick C says, finally. DeWolf says, I thought they used mecha and lasers to hunt in Japan. Yeah, that's the funny thing is, in some ways, Japan is far more technically savvy than the West, but in other ways, they're far more primitive. There's a lot of technology and things in life here that are done. They're still done in the old way, really. But yet you have computer robotic toilets and remote control lights. So I don't know. It's a weird place, but it's not what you think it is. That's for damn sure. Don't think she's going away anytime soon. It would make Chester laugh. Okay, I see Action Labs at Denver Comic Con. Sweet, Sheldon Martin says. DeWolf says the white background is offensive on Supermoms. Okay, okay, fine. Sheldon says, Kill Bill, the 11th best movie of all time. All right. Eric says, Mr. Viva's nemesis is Richard, so his enemy is a dick. Get it? Of course, dude. That's the joke, right? Obviously. Ahoy, Nixie, says March Hare. I sigh with sarcasm. All right, that's fine. I think we have a lot of that going on over here. Oil changes, lol. DeWolf says, the Wolf says, go back. Oh, he's talking about his promotion stuff. Nixie says, Tops Publishing, some banging Jurassic Park comics back in the 90s. Cool. I see. I figured they must have. Sheldon says, the running with high heels, though, through the whole movie for some reason was where I drew the line. Yeah, it's weird, right? A lot of people are upset with that. Life will find a way. Yes, absolutely. TFT. Topic, they are prepping for you for reptilians. I'm sure they are. Sam Neill, thank you very much, March Hare. That is his name. And he was an Omen 3, but he's Damien, right? I mean, I come from that generation, so. Tops Comics, sweet. Kronos Chiron says, DC Fontana passed away. She did Transformers animation and Silver Surfer animated, as well as Trek. And loads more. She will be missed. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, thank you for letting us know that. DC Fontana. I probably do. That sounds awful familiar, actually. It was the mouth of madness. Thank you very much, March Hare. Crowder admits to being right-wing conservative. He's nowhere near any middle. Actually, he's a libertarian, dude. He's not actually. That's kind of the joke that they think he's such alt-right. He's not alt-right at all. He's middle. That's the joke. Hellrod. Hey, Hellrod. Haven't talked to you in a while. Back when Topps Trading Cards was doing comics, they had a Jurassic Park comic. New York, in New York, I guess. Some big talent. They are worth $1 bin dive. Sweet. All right, there you go, guys. Seems like there was a good Jurassic Park comic. Hopefully, this will be too. Amazing writing. They all seem to agree. Fontana, rest in peace. All right, DC Fontana. Do you guys know who she is offhand?
No.
She's a writer. She helped.
For
She helped. She was one of the was it three key people, along with Roddenberry, that brought Star Trek
Star Trek, yeah.
to reality.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sweet. There you go.
And she
Rock
had
on.
to actually change her name. She changed her professional name to DC Fontana instead of just so that way people would not recognize that she's a woman, so she can actually get work done.
I don't think that actually matters, but good on her. So just a real quick last point before I come back over and continue with the news. DeWolf says, Chester went right over my promotions. I'm sorry, dude. Guys, go check out his links. He does have an Indiegogo coming for the Book of Elves. It sounds pretty cool. So definitely go support our DeWolf and his flying car press. Absolutely. All right, well, let's move on to the next bit of news. Anybody have anything to say before I continue?
No, move on, sir. Move on.
Now, this I don't know why this news bothers me, Dinelli. Go ahead.
So this is from the Hollywood Reporter. Honey, I Shrunk the Kid, director Joe Johnston and Josh Gad is in talk for a reboot. So he directed, I think, the original Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and he wants to make a reboot with Josh Gad in the leading role.
Well, they're using the word reboot, Denali, but I don't think they should because Gad is supposed to be the younger boy grown up. So it's actually a sequel, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, why does this bug me? Why does this news bothers me? I'm not happy about this news. Thundero, please educate me on my psyche.
Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it either. I think they need to just leave that movie series in the past. It was great, but for one, you're not going to get anybody to replace his name just
Moranis.
went out of my mind. Yeah, you're not going to get anybody to replace him on
No.
a just draw level. Like he had it. If he wouldn't have left for personal reasons, for
Yeah. It's really
family
sad.
reasons, he
Yeah,
would have
it's really
been
sad.
one of the biggest stars probably of all time. But he left, and he did. I mean, he did the right thing, in my opinion.
Of course he did.
And
Yeah.
it just feels disrespectful to him. Maybe he's cool
Yeah.
with it. I don't know. But for some reason, it just feels like a slap in the face to him. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, I agree. And of course, he left because his wife died, and he went to raise his children. But it's really sad. But we love Rick Moranis. He's one of those kind of guys that's just beloved, kind of like Michael J.
Fox.
Fox. Yeah,
Yeah,
another
fuck.
love guy.
Yeah, you do the same thing I'm doing.
Yeah, I think it's part of that. But I also think because they do have the original director, so that's not as bad. But I think it's also just Josh Gad. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got a face you love to hate. I mean, he's just one of those guys.
that's what I'm saying. It also, you just don't have anybody who has that appeal that Moranis had, right? He was just able to cross all those lines real easy, and he has that thing in that some actors have where it just kind of disarms you when you look at him, and he could still be hilarious and all these things, but it was just something that I don't think this guy. I mean, just look at him; he doesn't have that. So
Well, no, and Gad has been around a while here. He's gotten many opportunities, but he's kind of the typical example of the Jew boy whose daddy knows somebody. And that's
yeah,
really what he is.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's not particularly talented, although I would say he's not untalented, however. But yeah, I just don't like this news. I leave it be, I think. What do you think, Eric?
Well, it's Hollywood going back to something that was popular because they have no new ideas. Just trying to redo something again.
Yeah,
it's funny. My wife just walked in here with me, and she literally looked at the screen and said, "Why are they doing a reboot?" Exactly. Nobody wants.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird. And of course, he just got out of doing Frozen 2 because he is the voice of Olaf. That movie, as far as what I know from my kids in my school, they love it. They say it's much better than the first one, and the first one I thought was okay because the year before Frozen, because I have kids, so of course we watched Disney movies at that time. But the year before that, they had the movie Tangled, and that movie was way better than Frozen, way way better. And I was kind of surprised why Frozen was such a big hit. Of course, I wasn't against it. Whatever, have fun. But Tango was great. So it's good to hear consistently from my kids at my school that the second one is much better. So at least they improved it. That's a good thing.
The reason it's real simple. Music. The music of that movie sold it.
Yeah, but that
For
that melody has been used literally a million times, dude. It's
yeah,
so cliche music.
it works. That's why it's a cliche.
Yeah, I guess it just hits that mental notes. Yeah, like I said, I'm not against it at all. I'm happy they made money with it. Kids seem it's a nice little story. I think they're kind of pushing on the women don't need no man a little much. But whatever. It's not that big a deal. An interesting thing about it, the kids over here, and I do mean kids, elementary school kids, they kind of get it too. They understand what the movie's trying to tell them. So I thought that was kind of curious, but at least the new one sounds like it's really good. And of course, he's part of that, and that gives him some cachet for sure. He also played the gay guy in Beauty and the Beast, which that
Mm-hmm.
movie really didn't do well. And I didn't understand that. I know most of you guys probably aren't interested in Disney, but I do deal with kids every day. Because the thing I didn't understand about Beauty and the Beast is one of the most popular movies they ever made. right? It was a mega success, and of course it's a musical, as all those princess movies are. And you took Emma Watson, which would she looks fine for the role. She looks fine. She could be. She looks like, oh, that's Belle. Fine, why not? But she can't sing at all. They literally had to auto tune her, and she still sounded bad. So I didn't understand the casting of Emma. Why didn't you just go find some other cute girl that can sing? I mean, I guess they were going for the pull of Emma Watson, but the problem
Pretty
is,
much.
yeah, but in the West,
Yeah,
the movie did horribly. Here in
she,
well, it did though. Here in Japan, it did a little bit better, but the thing that benefited Japan was the fact that everything is dubbed here. So the singer that was hired in Japan, it was sung in Japanese. The song was rewritten in Japanese, and of course, it was a great singer. So all the music in the Japanese version is really good. So it's an interesting twist because for the Japanese, they don't really know the English version of it. They only have the Japanese version of it. And then you have Emma Watson. I think she looks just fine for the role, right? But anyway, this is I don't like this. Chat, tell me what you think because I'm like, no, no, Josh, bad Josh. All right, moving on. Now this
Right.
is
This is
oh god, go ahead, man. This I hate these damn articles. They piss me off. Go ahead, Dinelli.
right. These are from YouTube Entertainment. I guess they were talking with Todd Phillips, and he was in this article. They were reporting that he originally pitched Joker as the first of three comic book character studies. So, um, I guess part of the pitch that he was thinking if should Joker do well enough to recoup its cost, which it has done, evidently, then he would get two other directors to direct two other movies for two other character case studies, but he doesn't. But the article doesn't really mention which characters or which actors. As something was mentioned in passing,
It
basically.
intentionally doesn't mention them.
Yeah.
Right? And this is
Hmm.
what pisses me off. These articles we see all the time. They have this clickbaity title, and then they come in and there's an article that tells you nothing. This all let me sum this entire article up. Hey, I pitched three movies to Warner Brothers, and they said, well, we know we really don't need to make a special universe. We're just going to do it, and we're going to make Joker, and we make it. I'm not going to tell you what the other two characters are because then it becomes a thing. That's the whole damn article. So it's
Yep.
like you're not telling me anything. You've told me nothing, right? It's oh god, these people! I swear to God.
I'm far more interested in why Keanu Reeves' girlfriend Alexandra Grant doesn't want to dye her hair
Me too. Let's read
than I
that one.
am this. To
Yeah,
be honest,
yeah. The video is not available in your region. Well, I can solve that. Keanu Reeves' girlfriend, Alexander Grant, is explaining her hair choice. Why? Who cares? The 46-year-old artist, okay, she's a few years younger than Keanu, and she and the 55-year-old Reeves. Oh, he's older than I thought. Um, that's okay. She's within that reasonable range. Um, Grant looking gorgeous in navy blue gown. Okay, so what do you care if she has gray hair or not? Many fans were happy with the notoriously private Reeves stepped out. I don't really care. I'm not going to read it. But one thing I have to say though is uh, if she is his girlfriend, she must be a motorcycle freak because that's what he's all about. I don't know if a lot of people understand that. Keanu Reeves does movies to make money, and he's a nice guy, so he wants to make you happy too. But all he cares about is motorcycles. That's his morning, afternoon, and evening life, right? So, which is cool for me, but I'm not sure everybody knows about that. But anyway, stupid. But therefore. The question of this article, the only reason it's here, is this: what would the other two character studies be? Because they're not going to tell us because it'll become a thing. So let's speculate. Joker was the first one. They were very
Hmm.
successful with it. So what would you look at this Todd Phillips guy, his mentality, his thinking? What would the other two characters that he would like to make a character study about be?
Sinestro.
Hmm. Hmm.
well, if he was going to look for low budget, I would think it would be a more earthly character like the Joker. Probably Batman. And we might even get to see that movie. Um, Man, I don't know. It's kind of tough because if they're trying to make low budget movies, they can't have anybody too crazy powerful, or else it would be really boring to know that
I would think the Riddler.
could do the Riddler.
The
Yeah,
Riddler.
Mm.
It could be interesting. How about Penguin?
could be.
Yeah.
Yep. You also have the Mad Hatter.
Eh, eh. I
The
mean,
problem is
he exists.
even of the ones we've just mentioned, even Batman, I would much rather watch the Joker. If that's the type of movie you're trying to do, which is a character movie, I think he's the better of the characters. So I think they picked the right one, and it shows. They extremely
Yeah.
successful.
You know what I would like to see done in this format, actually? I would like to see Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
I mean, if you think about it for a minute, you really look at what the character is, where he's coming from, how he is, not what they've done with him recently, but his traditional, origin. I think that might make for a very interesting psychological delve because I mean, you got a guy, he's hiding on Earth, his race has been wiped out. I mean, it's you could do a lot with that, I think.
yeah. You could probably even do a if you're gonna stick with DC characters. I don't know if he only pitched DC characters. I would assume. You could go with Lex Luthor. You could do a real low budget,
And
just character.
we talked about that in depth actually on one show, and yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I thought it was a pretty good idea, but everybody else disagreed with me, and they made good points. So I don't
I think
know.
Mr. Freeze would be interesting.
Well,
Oh, that's another
if you
tragic
did it
story.
similar
Yeah,
to this movie, it'd be great. Where it's kind of an origin story. He's not really Lex Luthor yet. Like he's not the super ultra mega bad guy that he becomes. He just is finding himself into that persona, right?
the growing of the
I think,
hate for the alien. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, because I mean, in the comics they touch on it occasionally, but it always kind of just happens, and then I hate Superman, right? I hate him
Yeah,
for reasons. And
exactly. Yeah,
why? Like, give me a really good build up to why he just vehemently hates the guy.
yeah. Well,
Um,
I also like Eric's idea of Mr. Freeze because if you think about this guy who is manic, obsessed with bringing his wife back, but it's been decades, but he doesn't know that. He isn't aware of it because he's so stuck in his mania, and he's just driven to bring his wife back. You could have a great psychological thriller with that,
You can
yeah,
say he's frozen in time.
in a way. Yeah. Now, see, George, that's how you do a pun. Take notes. Good on you, Dinale. You're proving it. Young man here, stepping up to the plate. All right, let's move on here. Oh, God.
That was a softball.
Mr. Hispanic is back. All right, go ahead, dude.
Yeah, this is from Color Lines, John Luis Leguciano. It's introducing a new look. This is
His name is John Leguizamo.
I was going to say John Leguizamo.
Leguizamo.
I'm not going to say it. He doesn't. The Latina X is distracting me. Go read it. I can't read it. It's just
John
too distracting.
Leguizamo introduces new Latinx superhero in comic book Phenomex. I'm making this with the Latinx community. Now, you guys might, I'm sure there's a lot of love around here for John. He's been in a lot of cool movies. He's a fun guy. He's kind of been on this real Hispanic Latin kick for a few years now. He's really kind of pushing it, maybe brown power a little bit too much, I think. But oh well. But the thing that caught my eye first off here when I brought up this page and looked at this article was who put this out. All right, and I don't mean the Jemaya Chisholm. Jemaya, I love the names they come up with. I'm not talking about the writer. I'm talking about the page. Color Lines, published by Race Forward. Uh-huh. And they have a tab. They have a tab here for arts and culture. Oh,
Ooh.
nice, nice. Criminalization. Ooh. Black people didn't do nothing. Trump presidency. A whole
Click on
tab
that one.
just for him. And then gender and sexuality. I'm going to click on him in a minute. You just wait. But the thing I want to mention about Miss John and his brown powder thing, which whatever, go for it, John, is cool. I have no problem with this whatsoever. I hope it's successful. I guess. But the art sucks, dude. I mean, come on. Now we're a comic book place. We know good art. We know it quite well. Matter of fact, we have a pretty good artist sitting right here with us, actually. But yeah, this art sucks balls, dude.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's not
Yeah.
good. So John, I mean, come on, John. You're an actual celebrity, an actual American celebrity. You can do better than this, John. You can. Now
I,
the now I see some freak in this thing over. This art looks a little bit better. But go ahead, Thunder.
I just don't. It's completely off topic to what you're talking about, but I don't understand why they have to be called Latin X. Why is If you don't want to gender it, fine, just call it Latin. Why do we have to have X on the end of it?
I don't know why they
It's
just don't
so
do
annoying.
Hispanic because they're not technically Latins. They're
Well,
Hispanics.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a Run DMC comic on the table?
That's a DMC. I guess it would be. No, I think DMC is another
No.
dude. I think it's another
Oh, okay.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's far more gangsta. Run DMC was fun. Those guys were
Yeah.
just like, having fun, right? DMC is all about the yo 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 bitches. Got my gram. What is it? A gram, my half gram, my 8 gram, my 8 ball. 8 ball. There it is. Got my
Eight
eight
ball.
ball
Eight
in the
ball.
pocket. Got my gat in the hand. Bring it down low, brother. I shoot you in the head. Then you take my hand. I just rapped.
Okay. Okay.
Badass.
Okay.
This badass over here. But yeah, DMC's that type. Although he's not. He's one of those fake that type. He's like Colin Kaepernick, who's going around telling everybody how black he is. He's not black at all. He's not black. DMC is actually a straight rich boy, and he's been in a couple of movies. Matter of fact, he's got a new movie coming out with what's the Steven Seagal? Yeah, he's got the Beyond the Law. At first it was above
Oh,
the
I saw the
law.
trailer for
Now
that.
it's
Oh,
beyond the
man.
law. But anyway, thank you, John. Good on you. But come on, John, do better. Do better, dude.
Yeah.
Do better. I mean, give me a call, John. You give me a call, I'll hook you up, man. I got me a bevy. I got me a bullpen behind me, brother. I will hook you up. You will have the best artists in the industry. I got you back. Anyway, let's take a look at the top because it's far more interesting than this story.
Yeah.
Criminalization, I'm sure, is about black boy did nothing. Trump presidency or gender and sexuality. Okay, now this is a choice. Trump presidency or gender and sexuality. I bet you they're both pretty awesome. Which one? Which one? I'm waiting.
You can't go wrong with
Oh,
either
I
one.
clicked it. Oh no, something
Oh
happened.
boy. Nothing.
Nothing.
Now here we go. Attorney General says communities that don't respect cops could lose access to law enforcement. Well, I'm sure what they said was something reasonably to the point that if you make it difficult for police to do their job, then they're less likely to do their job. Therefore, criminality reigns. But I'm sure that's not what they mean. Stop executions. Yes, don't kill anybody. Don't do that. Okay. Let's go to Chicago and let's have a sit down with the black folks and please stop shooting people, stop executions, no more. All right. Judge blocks Trump's administration immigration insurance rule. I'm sure he did it completely out of the sense of the law and nothing to do with politics. Oh, it's just sad. What do they call these POCs? For me, it's just a little girl, but I'm sure she's more than that. Feds give Salvadorans more time to exit United States. Well, at least they give them their time to exit. Thank you.
yeah, they shouldn't
Uh,
even do that. Get them out.
yeah,
Get out of
well, dude, that's MS-13 when you talk about El Salvador,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
they need getting out. Actually, honestly, I would be all for police brutality in that case. It could soon be legal to prevent LGBTQ plus couples. Boy, they're really adding on to that from adopting. Oh no! Say it isn't
Oh,
so.
that'd be tragic.
Tragically, people with mental diseases couldn't adopt children. Oh, come
Yeah.
on now. We can't
The
have
less
that.
than 3% of the population is excluded. Oh no,
No,
we probably should
no.
crusade
This is
about
horrible.
that. Yeah.
Horrible. The EPA, we're getting banned for that. EPA seeks to ban some scientific studies in creation of public health regulations. Wow. I'm just kind of looking at these titles offhand, but yeah, they're not as bad as I expected, actually. We can make joke of all of them, I'm sure, but well, I don't see where this has anything to do with Trump, though.
And nothing about impeachment at all. I'm really surprised.
Yeah, right. That's interesting. This Planned Parenthood bot teaches teens about sex. Well, first of all, I don't need you teaching my children about sex at all. Thank you very much. I got professionals to deal with that. I don't need no sex bots. What is it? Pornhub? Damn it. Anita Hills, she's still alive? Anita Hills
Yeah.
Hollywood Commission launches harassment survey. I'm sure it's completely awesome. Trans Days of Resilience. This is the thing about transgenders that's curious to me. They've been around forever. It's nothing new. Everyone just kind of ignored them, let them do what they wanted to do. But they always talk about transgender people. No, 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 they don't say peoples. Transgender bodies are being killed. And it's like, where is your evidence? Can I have a police report, please?
Yeah,
And
they're
of course,
killing themselves
that's
more
what they're
than anything
talking
else.
about. They're talking about suicide. But it's like, so why is it someone else's fault that they're killing themselves? It's because they're mentally unstable, you see.
Yes.
Yeah. And therefore, what they really need is some kind of psychological help. Now, I understand that psychiatry isn't an actual science. I get it. I get that. But it's just counseling, right? They need someone to talk to. They need someone to help them. I'm not saying they need a cure. I could care less if they're gay. That means nothing. But the suicide rate amongst transgenders is super high, and there's a reason for that, right? There's a reason for it because there's some real mental instability going on, and they need help. I actually have pity for them, but this is not helping them. It's certainly not. Monique, okay, sues Netflix for racial and gender discrimination. Oh goodness, alleges the suit. It perpetuated the pay gap. Okay, so I hear
Yeah,
this. I hear this quite a bit. Yeah, go ahead, Janelle.
we did talk about that that headline a couple weeks back.
Hmm.
Because remember, she was comparing herself to Dave Chappelle and
Yeah.
the other specials where they made 10 times the more amount that she's having.
Yeah. Well,
Even what's her name that you don't like?
probably all of them, Denali. I hate women, don't you know? I'm a
Yeah.
misogynist.
Apparently, you hate them so much.
Yeah. Of course, Dave Chappelle makes probably more than 10 times she does, probably a lot more.
Yeah,
But it's the
yeah.
same thing with the women's soccer team. Why don't we get paid the most? Because no one watches your ass. That's why.
Amy Schumer, there you go.
Oh, Amy
For
Schumer's an
whatever,
absolute troll of a human. I mean, come on.
yeah. You talking about a women's soccer team triggered Amy Schumer into my mind. So she was even complaining that Amy Schumer was making more money than she was for the special they were offering her.
Poor McDonald's getting picked on. MJ Rodriguez is newest face of Olay. A lot of girls like myself, trans women. A lot of girls like myself, trans women. A lot of girls like myself, trans women. You're not a woman. You're not a girl. You are a trans. As a matter of fact, I think we should make it official that there are 3 genders now: male, female, and mysterious space creature. Right? Yeah, I'm definitely getting banned today, huh? This is definitely I'm going to be put on a list, and I've
Dig in
got
that hole.
dig in that hole, baby. Better get off of this one
Oh,
because I'm sure I'll be
yeah.
triggered extremely. Oh, triggered! Oh my god.
Ah,
Yeah.
I love this
From
one.
the Hollywood Reporter, Bill Nye, the science guy, is suing Disney for punitive damages. He's saying that when he was doing the 1990 Bill Nye the Science Guy TV show, they shortchanged him on the profits.
Yeah, Mr. Non-Science here is upset about his show from 30 years ago, and it's funny that a lot of the things he did on that show, he now refutes. And I wonder if he apologizes to himself on a daily basis for being so unwoke. I wonder. I wonder if he flagellates himself. I think a lot of them flagellate, actually. But yeah, this is an absolute worthless human. Anybody have anything to say about frickin' Bill Nye?
he's an idiot.
No,
Um,
he's a engineer. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
this is the only case where I'll root for Disney.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Let's go get posters and stand out in front and support Disney. That would be a riot. But the funny thing is, I've met a lot in my life because of my profession. I've met a lot of professors and engineers and all manner of educated folks. And I would say a good, I don't know, 80%, I think it's fair. A good 80% of them were idiots. They
Yep.
really weren't very smart at
Yeah.
all. I can't tell you how many teachers, actual teachers, that I have met that should not be in the classroom.
Yeah.
They're simply not
I
smart enough.
I had teachers like that who I knew I was smarter than, and I told them right to their face. They
Yeah.
didn't like it very much.
Well, it's not even me saying that I'm smarter or not. It's just that I'm at least aware enough to realize that they're not of value that they think they are. It's not
Right.
necessarily, and I'm putting myself above it. It's not the point. It's the point that I can recognize that they're not, right? And it's a problem. There's a huge problem going on in certain areas in America, for instance, with elementary schools. And it does, and this is not a racial thing either. This is across all races, where these little elementary school kids are completely out of control. They're biting, they're punching, they're throwing tantrums, they're destroying classrooms. And what these teachers do, instead of dealing with the child, they'll actually take all the other kids out of a classroom. It's called clearing a classroom, or classroom clearing, et cetera, et cetera. And I listen to a couple of these things, and you guys know I'm a teacher, right? I've been doing this
Mhm.
on 2 decades, and I have never had trouble in my classroom. You know why? Because I'm in charge of my damn classroom, and my kids have a lot of fun too. And when I sit and listen to the things they say, that these children are in crisis, and just listen to the nonsense coming out of their mouth, you know what it is? You are just not a good teacher. You don't know
Well,
do
hold on,
you don't
Chester.
know what you're
In
doing.
defense of teachers, they're not allowed to be mean to the kids. They can't instruct them how to behave, or they'll get in trouble themselves
What,
now.
what do you what do you mean by that? Be more specific.
Okay, well, we can't whip kids anymore. They took that out a long
You
time
don't
ago.
need
But
to
I mean,
touch a child. There's no need to touch a child at all. It's unnecessary.
they can't. Well, that yeah, okay, but they can't yell at the kids. They can't be stern with the kids,
Are you
or
sure?
the.
What law
I.
makes that true?
It depends on the school, the
Yeah,
district.
yeah. But see, the thing I'm trying to make is I don't think there is a law. I think this is just
Probably not a law.
these
No.
bleeding heart liberal idiots.
Yes.
Yeah, is what my point is. Because I guarantee you, you put me, and I'm not, and this is no arrogance either. You put me in any school in America in the classroom, I will have that room under control, guaranteed. And if anybody wants to challenge me on that, take me up on it. Because
Yeah,
it's
they would try to fire you for that more than likely.
what?
Chester's just trying to get a free ticket to America. Don't let him.
Shut up, Thundero!
Chester wants to come back.
Damn it,
He found out
Thundero!
his
Chester
way.
will save
God, I was
American
so
schools.
close.
He will be the hero we need.
Right, but no, no. I mean, all joking aside, obviously they have serious issues, but I really think it's just people who are not actual educators. Eric, I'm being serious.
No,
It,
no, there are some bad teachers out there, but
yeah.
I do know some teachers that, I mean, they can't. Well, the parents don't control the kids, and they send them off to
Mhm,
school to be controlled by the teachers. The teachers aren't allowed to control them
mhm.
because of the school district.
Yeah, but you see,
Aside from the ideologues, the main problem is these teachers aren't qualified to teach anyone
I don't think they are.
because they've
Yeah.
done nothing. They have no life experience at all.
Mhm,
They're in their young 20 somethings who are trying to tell you, a probably 30 or 40-year-old person who's lived a life, that you're how to raise your child or your kid's doing this, or
yeah,
just teach a child anything.
yeah,
Most great teachers, of all the best teachers I ever had, were around Chester's age, right? They were older. And it was because they've lived a life. They actually have life experience.
sure.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's a huge problem. And in fact, if I had my way, teachers wouldn't be allowed to be young. They would have to be older.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the young teachers we used to, they were only substitute teachers.
yeah, that's right. They used to,
Yeah,
because they're
yeah,
learning. They're in process. It's like
right.
residency. Yeah, that's a very good
Yeah, they
point.
didn't have any
Yeah,
tenure
yeah,
anywhere. I
but
mean, they're all substitute teachers.
all right, but here's the thing with education. Being able to do math or science or whatever it is you're teaching the kids is literally the last issue that is on the table. It's the as simple as point, because we're not talking about college here. We're not even talking about a high school. Well, we're not talking about college, right? Because anything below that, anybody could teach. Really, it's not hard. But that's not the point. The education is about something else. It's about civilizing children. That's what you're
Yes,
doing as a teacher. Who cares about the math? That is easy to educate. We're trying to educate them on how to be a good citizen, really, and how to be a good person. And these people, I've listened to these things, dude. I've seen these round table conversations about what are we gonna do. These are worthless human beings talking in front of me. And the one thing I have to ask, the one thing I have to say every time I see one of those is, where are the men? Where are the men?
exactly. Yeah. I wasn't taught by men hardly at all. I'm about a generation under you, Chester. I'm sure you had male
I
teachers.
have plenty.
I
Yeah.
had I had a couple. I had one in like fourth grade, and then I had a couple in high school. Other than that, I didn't have male teachers at all. Not even in like gym class, nothing. It was all females.
Yeah, it's and I'm sure I've upset plenty of people today, but I'm not backing off on this at all. The other things I was joking around. This I'm not joking about. It's ridiculous. I mean, you need men in the school, and mainly in the elementary schools where men have been removed, because if a man is anywhere near a child, he's got to rape them. Don't you know? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's ridiculous. You need a male presence in those places. You need it. You need women too. We need both. Right? It creates the balance. But I've watched these conversations, dude. I've seen it. I've seen them. They're all crying on stage. These people are not the people who should be teaching, and they try to find blame. And you know what they do a lot? They don't blame the parent, which the parents certainly take blame. They blame the children, dude. They
Mhm.
blame the children. They take no responsibility because they're incapable of it. The problem
Yes.
at hand is them. They are the problem, dude.
Especially young males. You have these usually young girls, sometimes older ones, but ones that don't have any kids of their own, who have absolutely no idea how to handle a boy, like how to just handle the energy a boy has. They think it's toxic and it's aggressive and
Mhm.
there's no place for it. No, he's just a boy.
You know
Like
the
that's just how boys are.
easiest way to quiet a room, and men, and excuse me, boys particularly, the easiest way to quiet a room is to stand up in front of the room with your hands behind your back with a very stern look on your face and be quiet. Say nothing.
Yep.
Those children will silent up because they know they've done something wrong. And I will wait until there's not a peep, right?
It's a counter sales tactic there,
It
Chester. But
works,
yeah,
dude. It works,
yep.
right? It's very effective, extremely effective, especially boys. Because the thing people don't understand about kids is they want authority. They want that. They need it, whether they understand that directly, subconsciously they want it. It's not hard to do this. You can be trained how to be a proper educator. And obviously, they're not doing this because their tactics with these modern progressive thinking, it's not right. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. We have the proof right in front of us. It doesn't work. Your ideology is wrong. Therefore, we need to move on to something else.
No, Chester. They just need more money. You see, they don't
Yeah,
have enough money.
yeah,
Some schools already have teachers making six figures. It's not enough. Not enough. That's the problem. They
yeah.
just need more money.
hmm Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm not going to keep harping on this because I do have another show I got to go prep on. But like I said, I'm sure I've upset a lot of people today. Let me come over here and see how many people are yelling at me a little bit before we get out of here. Stop it with the
Ev-
X. I agree with that
Every,
completely, Duel.
everybody's yelling at you.
I'm not surprised, but bummed JL. It's going to going the woke route. Yeah, well, it is what it is. Got to go. Have a good day, everybody. Later to March here. Nixie's, come on, John. You played clown in Spawn. All right, all right. It's true. He did. He did it well too. He's the best part of that movie. People are laughing at me. Never do that again. Chester, whatever it is, there's probably many number of things. Steven Seagal was the man for a few years there. He was. He was. He made fun movies too. Whether he's a sham or not doesn't matter. He's an actor. Come on. Tonight is old man news today. It is, dude. Don't you dare put down space creatures. I love creatures, Kronos. I apologize. Nixie says, that's the end of the science guy. Never cross the mouse. Dude, we should have thought of that. Yeah, it's very smart, sir. Oh my, look at the time. He's getting out. Yep, I agreed. Most were older. The good ones were older, and the young words were sub teachers. Yep, that's the way it was. Isn't D&D on tonight? D&Q on tonight? You're right, Nick. Nick is really trying to get me out of here. He's trying to help me out. Eric says we don't need no education. Criminal says Kevin Sorbo is a good example of leading by example. He did a web TV thing on YouTube here in school and was right against PC culture, and it was about it making fun of it. Well, Kevin Sorbo was a Christian. Sorbo, and he's all about actual practical values, and good on him. Nixie says male teachers will teach the kids to change motor oil. Yeah, okay, there you go. Practical skills, practical skills. But all right, I didn't tick you guys off that much, but I'm right. I'm right. Anyway, we are done for today. Thundarl, give me your last word and make it fiery, please.
Make it fiery. Yeah, I agree with Chester on everything he said tonight. We definitely need to reform our schools completely. I also agree with the things we were saying about some of the other stuff, like the Jurassic World movies just being boring and bland and not memorable. It's nice to be back around. And like I said earlier, it is my birthday, so
Oh,
I figured I'd hop on and help
Oh, happy
Chester out
birthday.
because thank you, since he was alone with George, and I know he loves that so much. So.
Thank you. Thank you. George, closing statements, please.
Yes, I actually fell asleep during the stream. It's
Mhm.
it's very rare. Um, it speaks volumes to the subjects, the topics, the back and forth camaraderie. You guys just bored the heck out of me. Where's Booster, for crying out loud?
It's
Where's
true.
where's the wolf?
Booster's
Where
playing
where's
Grand Theft Auto 5.
He
where's
is. He
interrupted
is.
called
Yeah.
Marunius, Artisticus?
All right, John. Thank you. George. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I call you by the wrong name?
John!
All right, Eric.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, John.
ultimate flex, and I don't even think he meant to do it.
No, I did, dude. That's sideways shade. Sideways shade.
That's a Freudian
Eric,
slip,
have at it, brother.
Well, I also felt sorry for Chester because there was nobody in here but him and George, so I hopped on.
Well, I'm glad you did. I like chatting with you, man.
I like chatting with you too. I'm usually free. I probably could hop on anytime I wanted, but
Cool. Well, rock on. And my last point before I let Dinale take us out of here is this. There's a reason why homeschooling has gone through the roof in the past couple of decades. Not for nothing. Dinale, take us out of here, man.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us for Comics News today. Join us in less than an hour for the ultimate edition of the Drawn and Quarter. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. And tomorrow we're off, and we'll return back on Saturday with Fan Speak at 8 p.m. Eastern. If you have any topics, if you have anybody that you want us to talk about, just drop us a line. We have an ear ready for you. But as always, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Namaste.
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 Later, guys.
Aloha.